All right, so why is helping my child considered a bad thing? Why do I have to stop helping my child? This is an interesting question. So, couple of things. One, at some point, if you want things to be different, you got to look at doing some different things. So if you're sitting in this room and you're really early on in this process, how helpful have you really been to your child? You know, like just as frank and blunt as I can be. Like people don't end up in rooms like this or treatment or psychiatric facilities or that kind of stuff like on accident. Usually when we end up in places like that, you know, we're there for good reason. And I've seen so many parents come through the program and have to kind of go through that little bit of grieving process or the humbling of, you know, maybe, just maybe, I don't know what's best for my kid right now. And that is, and I have so much respect for that when parents present like that and they're like, man, I know that we need help. I'm going to be an active part of this process, but I know that I don't have all the answers, or, you know, this is why like programs like this exist. Also, a good rule of thumb is to not do anything for them that they're capable of doing for themselves. Because so much of the work that we're doing is around their self-esteem. Because it's one of the things that almost universally, when we get into recovery, which is a fancy word for healing, but then when we get into recovery, it's almost universally one of the things that we don't have. And so much of the work that we do is around developing healthy habits, building self-esteem, integrity, honesty. Because what we know about healthy self-esteem is that somebody who has some pretty healthy self-esteem is less prone to making self-destructive decisions or acting out in self-destructive behaviors. So when we're doing things for them that they are capable of doing for themselves, we're robbing them of those opportunities to build some self-esteem. Do you want to add to that from the parent perspective, and then I'll go to Rex? Why is helping my child considered a bad thing?
Because you're a codependent. Because you're a raging codependent. Because and that's why I was just writing down so I didn't lose my thought. Because you're not helping your child, you're doing it to make yourself feel better. That's why.
Well said.
I shouldn't say you. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. That's what I was doing.
Rex?
Will you hold the microphone to me?
Yeah. Got you. Hopefully.
So what came to mind is emotionally ignorant, because I was really emotionally ignorant. And because I was emotionally ignorant, I wanted my child and children to always be happy, because I thought that was helping them the most and would help them the most. And everything I did was because I wanted them to be happy. I didn't understand that it's important for them to feel sad and feel angry and have healthy shame and healthy guilt. All of the emotions that I passed on to them were passed on in a less than nurturing way. I wasn't able to let them sit in their anger, or like I can with my 2-year-old. He can be angry and I'll just let him be angry and ask him if he's angry and say that it's okay to take a deep breath and count to 4. And since he's not so involved in his thought process, his anger goes away. His sadness goes away. He can breathe and hug himself or take a deep breath, and I don't have to go and save him from his sadness or his anger, or he doesn't have guilt yet, but but I don't have to shame him if he does something that I'm not happy with him doing. And because of my inability to let my other children feel negative emotions, or if you want to call them, or difficult emotions, I would always rescue them and try to make them happy. And they could not develop any emotional intelligence, and so both they and I were emotionally ignorant. And I think that's what came to mind when this question came up, is what happens to them when I continue to rescue them is they don't develop emotional intelligence, and they don't develop self-esteem. Love you.
Thanks, buddy.